Welcome to 21 Days of Prayer. I've got a couple passages I want us to look at today. John chapter 1, verses 29 to 51, and then a couple chapters later, John chapter 4, verses 28 to 41. Kind of interesting thing that God brought to my attention in these two different chapters and sets of verses. And I think there's some great stuff in here for us. So let me just kind of read one of those passages from John chapter 1, verse 29. The next day, John saw Jesus coming toward him, and he said, "Look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. This is the one I meant when I said, 'A man who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me.' I myself did not know him, but the reason I came baptizing with water was that he might be revealed to Israel." And he goes on and he talks about the baptism of Jesus. And then just a little bit later, the next day, in verse 35, the next day, John was there again with two of his disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." And so we kind of keep seeing him bringing attention to Jesus. You go down to verse 40. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the two who heard what John had said and who had followed Jesus. And the first thing Andrew did was to go find his brother Simon and tell him, "We have found the Messiah, that is the Christ." And he brought him to Jesus. And then if we continue to go down a few verses later, in verse 43, the next day Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Peter and Andrew, was from the town of Bethsaida. Philip found someone else, Nathanael, and told him, "We found the one Moses wrote about in the law, about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." "Come and see," said Philip. And we'll see the same thing in John chapter 4, verses 28 to 41. I'd love for you to read those. I just want you to see how casual it is. How casual and how normal it is that these guys in the Bible are telling their friends, "Hey, look, there's the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. Hey, look, there's Jesus, the one I was telling you about." I think this I'm going to call helping your friends find Jesus 101. So often we really want to tell our neighbors and our coworkers and our favorite people we interact with at restaurants or coaches of our kids or whatever. We really want to tell them about Jesus, but we feel like we've got to have this scripted sermon, and it's got to be perfect, and it's got to be tailored to that person, and then we need the right moment to do it also. And I think there's great value in praying that out, and if God slows you down, that you make sure you're really deliberate and you do have some ideas of what you might share. But also, there are lots of verses in the Bible about how God equips us for every good work according to his will. And sharing the gospel is a work that he will equip us for in the moment. Sometimes we need to quit overcomplicating it and just be natural with the people in our lives and say, "Oh, look, here's Jesus. Look, here's the Lamb of God." What does that look like in our lives? Well, we do it already. We say things like, "Hey, did you see that new Top Gun movie this summer? What'd you think of it?" We talk to people about that kind of stuff. We might be like, "Hey, did you see the game last night?" And we just start talking about the game. Whether they saw it or not, we talk to them about the game. Or like me, I will tell you "Hey, I tried this new recipe last night and it was a home run with my whole family and it's only 4 ingredients. Let me tell you how you can use it." We just share stuff about our lives so naturally, and for some reason, we guard the spiritual part as if it needs to be super well timed, super well scripted. And I think sometimes we just need to be in community with our friends and be like, "Look," or maybe how that looks for us and sounds for us is something like, "Hey, I heard this sermon at church this weekend. I can't quit thinking about this one line. He said blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that?" Whether they saw the sermon, heard the sermon or not, just like whether they saw the game or not, you started a conversation with them about something you're seriously thinking about and it's still sinking in. Or maybe you can be like, "Did you see that sunset last night? I look at the sunset and I think, how much more amazing will heaven be than earth?" I say that a lot when I go on vacation and I see some new place, and then I think of all the other places I want to go see, and I know I'm not going to have enough time or money in my life to get to all those places. I really won't. And so I just keep telling myself, and I tell this to other people, I'm very confident that God didn't use his best talents on earth. I'm very confident that heaven will be more intriguing, more beautiful, more amazing. I cannot wait till I get there. So I can say that easily when I've seen the ocean, when I've been to the Grand Canyon, when I've been to the mountains, when I've seen a cool sunset. I can naturally just say like, won't heaven be so much more amazing? And that opens the door for them to start thinking about God and thinking curiously about what will heaven be like. And maybe that starts a whole conversation. And so I think we overcomplicate it. We need to just tell people how we are interacting with God and just throw it in our normal conversations. Or, man, I love this song right now. It's a worship song, or it's a song from my church that I'm loving. You've got to listen to it. And send it to one of your friends. Just like you would send another song, have you heard this song? Like, this song speaks to my heart. You got to listen to it. And you send it on to your friends. Or, look what God's done in my life. You know what? I've been praying about this for so long, and this happened. Like, God just did something big in my life. I wanted you to know about it. And you tell them that. How is it that you can point people to Jesus by just talking about what's already happening in your life? Well, first of all, you have to be interacting with God in your life in general anyway. And if you're listening to this and you're part of our 21 Days of Prayer, then you are. You are right now interacting with God. And so something that he could share with you today could be something that you could share today with someone else. It doesn't have to be way down the road, prayed and fasted over for 40 days. I'm not against that. I think that's great. But I think we set ourselves up for like, how to tell our friends about Jesus isn't just a 101 class. How to tell our friends about Jesus is like a lifetime study. And maybe by the time you're 80, you got something figured out that you could share with someone. I want to challenge you that you already have something you can share with someone. You already do. Recently, as I was preparing to share this today, I thought of two examples. Recently, I've prayed twice in a parking lot of the same restaurant with two different people. One of them I know has faith. The other one, I have no idea if they have any faith. But they just shared with me about somebody dying, and it was such a heartbreaking situation. And she was just saying, yeah, so-and-so, this person died. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna pray for you. And then I said, actually, can I pray for you right now? And she kind of looked stunned, and she's like, right here in the parking lot? I'm like, yeah, who cares? People do weirder things than this. And she kind of laughed, put my hand on her shoulder. I was careful to pray for a shorter amount of time because I didn't know if I was making her feel uncomfortable. And she's like, thanks, Amy. And that was the end. And the other person I prayed for has a faith, and she was like, oh, I needed to start my day like this. Thank you so much. Sometimes we just need to do it and not overcomplicate it. So here's your prayer points for today. I want to challenge you that before your head hits the pillow tonight, or if you happen to be watching this at night, then it's your job for tomorrow. But before your head hits the pillow tonight, pray and ask God to show you an opportunity today to talk about something authentic and real happening in your walk with God today to one person, okay? That's your prayer point. Your second thing is ask God to help you be obedient in that moment. Ask God to help you step out in faith. Yeah, you can ask God to help increase your faith. It's in the Word, and you can do it too. So you can ask God, help me have bigger faith that I'll actually do it when the moment happens. And God, can you encourage me in it? Can you help me walk away and know that was good? And not to overthink it and beat myself up if I should have or could have said it a little bit different. All right, you got it. Have a great day.